Good morning. Please excuse me as I read this. I've also got a bit of a sore throat. I haven't got COVID, just I think from talking too much the last few days, so my voice is going to be a bit scratchy. I am sorry. Hello and happy Thursday. Today is Australia Day. Australia Day, Canada Day. I haven't heard of an England Day. So what are these? Is Australia Day, the 26th of January, another holiday? A name, just so we can say we don't have to go to work today? Yippee! Many years ago, on Australia Day, I went to a ceremony and became an Australian citizen. Originally was born in England. Does Australia Day, like some other countries, celebrate its independence, in this case as a colony from England? No. We still remain part of the Commonwealth. Australia Day marks the anniversary of the First Fleet in Australia. On the 26th of January 1788, over 2 centuries ago, the first British settlers arrived to colonise the country. To the Indigenous, it is the beginning of a long and brutal colonisation of their people and their land. So I'm going to stop here and respectfully acknowledge the custodians and elders that are traditional owners of this land. The theme last year for Australia Day was Respect, Reflect, Celebrate. One way to remember and to honour the Indigenous is to fly the Aboriginal flag at half-mast. Now, in 1988, so a few decades ago now, it was also known as Invasion Day, which was marked the 2 centuries of the treatment of our Indigenous. It occurred in Sydney to mark the loss of Indigenous culture. For those of you who don't know, green and gold are the colours or the national colours of Australia. Back to the Indigenous. Australia Day is known as Invasion Day, Day of Mourning, Survival Day, or since 2006, which is it's 15 years ago or so, Aboriginal Sovereignty Day. So since 2006, it's been known as Aboriginal Sovereignty Day. On Australia Day, awards are handed out to people for achievements such as Young Australian Award. I think I heard on the radio this morning that the Young Australian Award was handed out to a soccer player who came from, I'm not sure whether it was Somalia, but somewhere in Africa. So congratulations. And I'm glad to see that it was a multicultural thing. That's a good sign. So for more information, please Google or whatever you use website search to search what Australia Day means and represents. I've only briefly given you a summary. So to conclude, today is a mixed day, one that birthed a new people or nation, and the other that started a culture to decay and die. Because once the white man came, the Aboriginal people were forced to take on white man traditions. Now, they were also forced. We have a lot of reserves in Australia. For example, There's one at Mossman, and you can look these up because that's not really the point of this video. And these reserves, another one's Palm Island. Aborigines were kind of forced to be housed, and in the centre of Australia you still have full-blooded Aboriginals do their thing, their culture, but it is dying. There once was hundreds of different Aboriginal dialects, but now they have been lost. And apparently by the early 1900s, about over 90% of the Aboriginal population was wiped out from simple things like flu, cold, and stuff, that sicknesses that the Aborigines had not been exposed to, that white man had hundreds of years, centuries to develop an immunity to. And also with that, there's been problems too, like with alcohol, because again, white man has had centuries to get used to it, but it's like a poison for Aboriginals. And I'm not going to deviate anymore because I wanted to talk to you about Australia Day. It is very interesting that at school I wasn't taught any of this. And again, like I've said in videos, people with vested interests who influence our society keep certain bits out of our history and our lessons and our education. I spoke to a friend of mine who did learn, a few Aboriginal stories, like the Rainbow Servant is a very important story, but I wasn't taught anything. And I went to school in the 70s. I finished high school 1978, and we weren't taught anything. We weren't even taught about the Middle East as a flourishing place, when we were just taught, that the Dark Ages. But in the Middle East, it wasn't dark. So our history is biased and tainted, and I'm getting off the subject. I am conflicted. I don't know whether to wish Happy Australia Day, because is that being respectful to our Indigenous? Whatever. No, I'm going to respectfully just say have a happy day. And have a happy day every day, whatever that day may be. But let's today, being Australians, remember our roots and remember that we did invade another culture. And I saw a car earlier, and all around the car was Australia Day flags. I'm sure that this video that I have just put out, half of the things most Australians wouldn't know. As I said, just another holiday. Thank you for watching. Remember to cherish every moment and love the best you can, and that every life matters, especially our Aborigines. Thank you. Love you. Have a good day wherever you may be. Bye.